with keying. The process of, you probably all saw some video with where people filmed on a blue screen or a green screen, exactly like we saw before. And that process is called keying. I have put some examples up on the VFX folder, the one called Keylight. So if I just import that here, this is my local version of the Keylight folder. It contains a few different things. This one I don't need. There's a couple of things here I don't need, but never mind that. Let's move that out of the way. Good. So we have this, which is sort of like an evil queen or something like that. And we have something we want to put in the backdrop. This is really old material, but it's good to just get to know it. So exactly the same way as you can use like the magic wand in Photoshop, you can use a keyer to create a mat or to pull a key, as it's also called. So if I select this one, just let's move all the other stuff out of the way. Yeah, so I just have this Merlin thing here. I can go to the keying section, and we have some different keyers available. There's a difference keyer that will look at two images and then create a mask or matte based on the difference between the two. There's a hue keyer that will key out a certain color. We could use that. There's an IBK gizmo and an IBK color. These two work together to create a key. This is a keyer that comes from Digital Domain, the people that did the effects for Titanic, and they also did Nuke, and then they sold all of the software to the foundry that is then selling it now. Then there is a keyer, which is sort of like a multiple thing toolbox, and then we have the three like most respected keyers, I guess. Primat, Keylight, and Ultimate. Keylight is actually the founder's own tool, and it's quite amazing. But let's try the hue keyer for now. So if I take this, it will by default try to key out the green color. So if I just press M up here, you can see how it creates a mask on just her. I can also press A to look at the alpha channel, and you can see how it creates a mask. If I look at this, there's nothing, but this tool here creates the key based on the colors it's using. So I just go and press M, and then you can see if I move this, the key will change its look depending on what part of the color spectrum I'm using. So I can also move all of these sort of out of the way, and then you can see the result will be that I get a key that is not really good. So that can be used. We could also use the keyer. By default, this will do a luminance key, so it will create a mask based on the brightness of each pixel. So it can be good to like key out things when you have, for instance, if you have something like fire that is filmed on a black background or an explosion or something like that, then you'd be able to create a key or an alpha channel or a matte based on the black versus wherever there's something bright. But it can also be set to other things than luminance. You could set it to green keyer, so it will key the green color. Let's just press M. And then I can start to like change what it is keying. I'm keying like this. Maybe I'm keying it more like this, or this one up here. So I can move the key around. And I can also invert it. So if I do something like, let's see. You can see that it is tricky to get it exactly the way you want and then invert it. So I get a mask like this. And then I have a matte again. It's a little iffy looking here, but you can use that as well. And it can be used for different kinds of saturation and green screen, and you can use it in different ways. So you see. Then of course there are Primat and Ultimat. I won't go into those. They are quite fancy. Let's just take a look at it. The Primat key has this option where you can like layer effects on top of each other. So first of all, you have this option where you just drag the green out of it, and then you can go on and clean out noise, and then you can just add like more and more tools on top. It can be tricky but quite effective to use. But what I'd like to show you is the key light keyer here. And the way the key light keyer works is that I need to have a screen color, and then it can actually do everything in one. It can pull a key and overlay it. So let me just put my viewer on the main or the image, because if I'm looking through the keyer and I'm starting to pick a color, it sometimes starts flickering because the color changes as it updates. So I'm looking at the one I'll key, click my screen color, and then I hold Control Shift to create an area. So it will take the average color of this area. It's the reason why I do that is because a key background is usually not like perfectly the same color. It has a bit of noise. So if you do it like this, it'll find like the average color for that area. So that's good. Then I have to remember to turn this off. And let's just see how that looks. Go here. So you can see that creates a key that looks like this. You can see that there's a bit of noise, but we'll fix that. We can use what's called screen gain to sort of control how much or how little it's keying out. That's one option. It also has this screen mat setting where I can change where the black point should be. So you can see it works sort of the same way. And I can also change the white point. So if these are close together, I get a really sharp and not nice key. If they're further apart, I'll get something soft. What I'll also do is I will put the background in. So there's one in here called background, BG. So if I plug that in and I set this to composite, it will put it over the background. What you should be able to see here is that she changes a little bit of color. It's not much. But when you're doing keying, especially green screen, you will tend to get what's called color bleeding. So the green color will be reflected or like illuminate areas that you don't want it in. So you'll try to fix the color bleeding, and you can do that here. It's hard and soft how it deals with this. You can also tune the midtones, and I have to look at the result, of course, to tweak these a little bit. But the screen replace color here is like quite important. So if I had a lot of color bleeding, what I can do is choose the complementary to green. So green would be up here, right? So I could choose the complementary. That will sort of kill the green screen color.
Complementary what?
Complementary color. The color opposite of the color on the color wheel.
For the what?
For the screen replacement color. So it will try to like counteract the foreground color. But really what makes key light so nice is the way it handles things like hair. It's like really, really nice. So that works pretty fast and easy. So now you get the idea of how it works. I'll show you a little clip. And we'll actually get to just look at another thing as well. These two sequences are very short. They're like 5 frames, I think. These are from a movie called The Saint. And the first thing you should notice is that this is totally the wrong aspect. That is not really important at the moment, but it is. It is really the wrong aspect ratio. So what I can do is use something called Reformat on this thing, and I can set it to be a different format. So for instance, I want this to be HD, like so, and then set this to distort, like so. So this looks much more correct. What I'll do is I will put this backdrop that was filmed by a second unit in so that it looks like she's actually driving somewhere outside the studio. So the way I do this is that I will of course just add a key light there, and I will make this one the background. Yep. Can be a little tricky to see which one is what here because it's all on top of each other, but that is the matting in and out. And then of course just look at this one, screen color, go in here, Control Shift, select an area here, and then turn this off. And look at this, looks sort of good. There's a little bit of a noise here and there. But what you should note here is that we actually get the reflection of like the seat belt and her jacket and stuff, and it still is in there. I'll turn this to composite, get that, and then look at the result of the reformat. And let's see, so suddenly she's driving around in Scotland. And we can, of course, with the screen gain, control how much or how little we want of this. Something like that. And you can also change things like if this should look colder, we can put on a grade node. I press G to add a grade node, and then I can gamma it more in the blue colors so it looks more cold, like so. If I like to do that, and then I can also add a blur node to maybe make it a little out of focus in the backdrop, so that we will focus on her. So that is the next thing you should take a look at. Get the key to work. Work on how to get the backdrop maybe to change a little bit of character. You could also like desaturate it a little bit. So if I put on the saturation here and then just turn the saturation down there, and then make sure that the blue color here is and maybe lift it a little bit. Yeah, so it looks cooler than what we were really going for. So, yep. Yes.